It's
I was
like 5 years
shocked.
ago, there was nothing there.
I know.
I was so surprised.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Committee for the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended at 7:18 on Monday, June 13th, 2022 at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Also pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, we will be operating in a hybrid mode tonight because of COVID restrictions. And so we will have people joining us on the video from time to time. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting. And it's the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should also know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by a decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. Our office administrator will be happy to answer any questions you might have with respect to that process. The first item on the agenda is concerned with installing an outdoor kitchen, pergola, fire pit, hot tub, and ground level deck at 86 Old Hyannis Road. Ruan General Construction is the owner and Bassini Landscaping is the agent. I'm not sure which is here tonight. I think the landscaper. Good. So, this is a fairly new house.
Yeah, it's new construction. They're still in the process of getting their certificate of occupancy at the moment. I'm representing the new buyers that are closing on Friday.
Good. Yeah, I had been out there a few months ago
Okay,
after they did the framing.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I do framing inspection.
So I listed Ruhan just because he's the current owner right now. They have not, the new buyers have not closed
To the
yet. so-
closing. Yeah, good.
I do have a larger set of plans if that's easier for anybody to look at, if possible. I know.
Sure.
You
I forgot my glasses, so.
those microphones are live there for you.
Thank you. This is the front of the house.
Thank you.
Front of the house. Let's see if you can see it.
This house is going to close. So
Exactly.
you initially have to come in for
This one.
Yes. It's so beautiful over there now. Those homes are gorgeous.
Oh, this is the fire pit.
Are there any abutters present or other interested parties to this project? And none of this is visible from Old Hyannis, correct?
Nothing I'm applying for now.
We had one letter that came to us, a note from Mr. Brandon. He's at, what's the address?
I think it's just simply applying the buyer's behalf.
And he says, no problem, we have my permission as current owner to apply for the buyer's behalf. Okay, so that's,
I do have a letter from both the abutters across Old Hyannis Road, the residents at 77 and 89 Old Hyannis with their support, if
okay.
you would like.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the file.
Thank you. Okay.
Can you speak into your microphone a little bit more? We're having trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So these, one is from Darren DeSimone, to whom this regards. I'm the owner of 77 Old Hyannis Road, Yarmouth Port, and we approve 86 Old Hyannis landscaping plan. And then from Jennifer Enders, I live at 89 Old Hyannis Road, live directly across the street. I'm very much in support of the proposed landscape project for the home. Please let me know if you have any questions for me.
I move to approve the application.
Second. I second.
Okay. All those in favor? All-
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
One thing you have to
Sure.
sign off on, if you
Yeah.
would.
You want your letters back?
I have copies. Thank you.
Plan?
You want your plan back? Thank you. I don't know if you were going to roll them all up together or not, so.
This is, just if you're gonna make any changes, let us know in
Yep.
advance.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with it. The next item is concerned with a garage extension. There's a two-car garage presently, and going to a three-car garage and adding a laundry room. at 83 Old Hyannis Road. Bill Duan is the owner, and Sergio Resendez is the building agent. Good evening.
Good evening, how you doing?
You are Sergio?
Yes, I am.
This could be about 100 yards to go from the master bedroom to the laundry, it seems.
It is now when it's in the basement, so
Oh, you better.
It's at the very opposite ends of the
helps
house.
the corner of the house.
Near the kitchen,
No, the laundry room's in the basement.
but they're moving it.
They're moving it closer to the kitchen, yes.
Are there any butters here to this property? So where's the laundry room gonna go?
It's in the back of the house.
Behind this extra door, garage door?
No, the garage, it's actually in opposite corner of the house. The house is basically a U shape.
Oh, do you have this? Laundry room there, garage here. So I see one,
On that's the plan there, miss. There's a on the upper right corner, it says 8x8 new laundry. Left.
8x8 new laundry right here. So what about the laundry room you've got already that's at the corner of the house?
That's the new one that we're putting in.
This is the new one. This is the new rendition of this laundry room?
Sorry, can I just go up there and see what you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing right here. Is it, you're adding this on?
Yeah, this is what we're adding on, which is this here. This is the new proposed laundry room.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the garage then?
No.
So- Deck is going to be new too. The deck in the back is also new.
No, deck in the back is not, is existing.
Oh, it says
The
proposed.
deck over the garage is new.
Okay.
The new garage.
So you have a lot of vehicles.
I'm sorry?
You have a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, well, the homeowner does.
So there's no butters. Do we pretend with no butters?
And the house itself is basically blocked by the house directly along Old
In
Hyannis.
the big barn?
Yeah, these are complicated lots. They're all fairly large lots. Interlocked. Chops.
I move to approve the application.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Just saying, if you can make any changes, let us know in advance.
Welcome.
The next item is concerned with replacing some doors and windows at 21 Azalea Lane. The homeowner is Jennifer Wallace, and Michael Frullo is the agent. So we have Mike here tonight.
So on the windows, I can't tell from the spec sheets that you have, are they going to have
Grills?
grills? Thank you.
No, there's actually 5 existing windows that are brand new that were installed by a previous owner that have no grills, and
Oh.
we'd like to match those.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's got almost 4 different types of
Yes.
windows.
Types of windows,
Yeah.
types of grills. It's
Are the doors essentially like for like?
no, it's going to be currently I think it's just a solid door that's there now, and the new door is going to be a half light.
Similar to the one in the back.
Correct.
Oh, here we go. So here's a picture right here.
So she's got these 3 sets of windows, grouped windows on the sunroom.
Mhm.
The one in the front and the 2 on the side, each with 3 windows.
Mhm.
And she wanted to do some kind of a sliding thing, a single unit sliding window
Mhm.
thing. Do you know what that is all about?
Yeah, they would be Anderson gliders.
Okay, gliders, okay.
They take up the same space that the windows are
So
now.
is the middle one stationary and the 2 outer ones
Yes.
glide? Okay. And there'll also be no grids.
Are there any abutters or other interested parties present?
I move to approve unless,
No, I have no
I
other.
move to
comment.
approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Again, if you would. Just, if you're gonna make any changes, let us know in advance. Tough. Thank you. Good luck with it.
Right.
Next item is concerned with building a detached barn at 379 Weir Road. Steve and Cheryl Karras are the owners, and Patrick Jacobs is the agent. And looks like they're all here tonight.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Thanks for having us, everybody.
You're welcome. Where are you gonna put this on your property? To the left of the house, to the right near the bog?
If you're looking from Weir Road, it would be to the left.
It'll be to the left of it.
Like a plot plan to give you a little more of a description, or do you have?
There's one of these.
Yeah, there's a plot plan that shows it pretty well.
Railroads, yeah, okay.
So it looks like the whole thing's gonna be white.
It is-
Barn's white, the doors are white, the windows are white, the trims, just everything's gonna be white.
I believe the windows are gonna be black, correct? I think I wrote that on there.
It'll look like that, but it'll be all white, not red.
Correct, yes, the windows will be black. I put that on the historic application. That the windows themselves will be black with the fine light grills in between the glass.
Thank you.
So it's 40 by 30, and the 40 is where the garage doors are.
Correct.
Is what is it, a top garage? Right in front of the garage doors. Right now. It shows on the drawing. Top garage. It's like a temporary structure.
Above, excuse me, above,
Oh, the tarp there, yeah, it's not there. It was at one point.
Oh,
I had like a temporary garage.
yeah, it's kind of one of the, one of those tarp garages with the aluminum poles.
this drawing, I guess, was from March.
Right.
There's already a garage under the house,
There is
one car garage.
one garage bay under the house. Yeah.
Are there any butters here?
The house is not white. Your house isn't white, is it?
It's white trim with gray shingles, the whole house.
Great, yeah, that's what I
Like-
thought.
Like weathered gray? Weathered shingles are painted?
They were like pre-dipped. when we
Right,
did it,
okay.
you know.
Yeah. but it's a light gray. It's kind of on a rise, so the garage is lower than the,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of,
it's kind of built into the hill.
it'll be built into the grade.
Right.
Yeah.
4 or
On the
5
side
feet.
near the cranberry bog? Is it on the cranberry bog side?
Yes. Yep.
So between the structure and the road, there'll still be quite a few trees, I take it,
Yes.
right? My concern is the being white, it'll stand out more than the house itself. And the neighbors also are, I think, a darker color. And at least the woods would kind of block it.
What's the height of the barn relative to the height of the house? Roughly.
It'll probably be just about the same because it's starting at the same grade on that side. That side of the house on one side is almost like, looks like it's 3 stories because it's a walkout basement.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, and on the other side, because that's also built into the grade, it's just 2 stories on the same side that this will be 2 stories on the side facing the house.
Yeah.
But the backside will really be kind of built into the grade.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't see really much of a change in ridge height from the main house to the garage. I mean, there might be, 6 to 8 inches maybe from main house to garage or garage to main house. But pretty much like Steve said, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I was studying these drawings last night, and my first thought that maybe it's going to be sticking up more than the house and more than the neighbors too, and that it would really stand out. But then as I looked at the way it's being built into the slope there, it brought it down about 4 foot. And so it didn't look so bad.
It's the style of the barn is a little atypical for Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing. It's just an observation.
Yeah, like a monitor style. Yeah,
That's a good way of putting it.
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
up?
That's
A
what
monitor
a
style.
monitor barn is really that style
Hmm.
of barn where it kind of slopes down.
Mhm.
Okay, now the roof, it just says a metal roof.
Is that like a standing seam metal roof that you're putting on it?
Correct. And we were thinking about doing, like a grayish roof to kind of simulate, like a white cedar, after it ages, keep
So it
the,
end up looking pewter.
yeah, to keep it kind of the traditional colors.
We had someone recently came in, we had never approved of a metal roof on a house before, except where they have a little over a garage door or something, trim kind of thing, over a small porch. But this one was aluminum, and it was interesting. They brought samples in, which were the paint on it is different. It's like a heavy, very serviceable. I think call it.
I don't recall.
What, the color or the how it
Well,
was
the
called?
color was kind of a reddish brown.
Mm.
Ended up being, and it was a low pitched roof, so it wouldn't be terribly visible
Mhm.
with a 3-inch peak. But this is also painted then.
Yeah, so it'll be a gray, kind of like a matte finish. You know, it won't be like a high sheen, so it's not going to stick out and have a huge glare off of it.
Right.
You know, and again, it will be kind of a gray that goes with, you know, the times before.
That's what this other one was, also a kind of a matte finish. So it's good because I've seen a lot of metal roofs, not in our area, that stand out because they're glossy. You drive down the street and you see it right away.
But it's an 8 pitch, so it's not that
You're right,
steep.
gradual pitch.
Well, 8 is pretty good.
You like the windows above the middle door rather than this door that's on
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah. That was, we were just trying to find similar drawing, similar photos.
Yeah, we wanted to try to give you guys a little bit of a depiction of what it would kind of look like, besides a set of plans. Sometimes plans are a little hard to,
How far away from the house is it?
geez, from the house.
Not that that matters. It just looks like it's
It's a good distance. I'd have to say it's at least 100 feet. I
100
would
feet.
think.
That's not that far. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have that surveyed, but I'd say like if you look at the plans from the 84-foot setback from the back corner to the bog, it's got to be at least close to that.
Board and batten, what kind of boards are they?
We would like to use some PVC, some plastic,
Did you get home?
if we can. Painted, of course.
So like AZEC, something like that.
Like an AZAC or,
Is that trim is all right, but not siding.
so the siding essentially, so if you could explain to me what the difference between the vertical board and batten, which is trim, to the AZAC trim boards, what would be the difference in material? Like, why would you, or I'm asking what the difference between the
It's just the
siding and
battens,
trim.
AZEC or the
So we
whole
were thinking
facade.
about doing this, so the siding would be the board and batten, which would be it would be vertical boards, with the batten strips, just kind of like the plans depict. For longevity, really, from the street, or even if you came up to it, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between wood or plastic. It'll be painted. Just like the rake boards, the corner boards, window trim, if that was PVC, same thing. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you actually got into it with some sort of a knife or a chisel to see what kind of material it was.
So sorry, I missed one point of what you were saying. So the entire exterior is going to be AZEC or just the battens?
We would like the entire, well, I say the entire, the garage or barn doors will be probably like some sort of like an aluminum, which I think I have on the application. But yeah, we'd like to essentially make this a longevity barn instead of,
So it's like the sheets of plywood, if you will be AZEC.
I was thinking about doing more of like a 1x8 individual panels.
Oh, I see.
Just kind of like the traditional board and batten would be, just out of AZAC, and then just putting the 1x2 in between each seam. Like traditional
Sounds
board and
like a
batten.
very expensive way of doing it. And
The hope is to
I
do
know
it
how
once
much
and not have to
I
do
have
it again.
AZAC trim on my house. And I would not like to pay for. I have Hardy Plank,
That's expensive.
which is not as expensive.
No.
Not as a AZAC. And it looks like wood. And one of the things I'm concerned with, I'm an engineer, and too many times I see houses, particularly in Boston fires, with the siding melting and burning off the houses. And Hardy Plank has caught on to the idea, and they've incorporated scenes like that in their ads, which I've been thinking about for 50 years. Because I started my interest in hardy plank going back at least 50 years. But it wasn't available up north here because it was very available in the south because they deal more with humidity in the south. And so
Termites.
they're always painting and repainting houses. So that was a good solution. But just wasn't until about 20 years ago that you started to see it in the Northeast. So I jumped on that at my own house. I had wood and batten on a previous house, which was cedar. And the woodpeckers loved it. So I would never do that again. So I was interested in what you're going to do. We categorically have not been approving vinyl houses, vinyl siding all around. We give way on vinyl clapboards on the front of a house, particularly if they're putting shutters on it and keeping it looking like a Cape Cod house with clapboards on the front and regular cedar shingles on the sides and back. Very rarely, only a couple of times have we allowed vinyl shingles all around a house, but typically down on the waterfront where they're being soaked in fog and everything all the time. And so the regular cedar shingles don't do well there. But normally we don't approve vinyl.
So is this something that that you're veering away from? Is the PVC? Is that what you're saying? So if we use
Well,
like a different
In
composite,
terms of trim, lots of people now are putting AZEK trim on their houses because they end up, even if they have white cedar shingles for siding, that stands up better than the trim if rather painting the trim and scraping it. So AZEK is a winner there. So the extra cost to install it to begin with, it's worth it because they have to paint it 5 years down. But the rest of the siding, we tend to lean towards wood or some composites. We allowed one recently, I forget the name of the brand, but it was a composite. It was grainy looking. It looked a lot like hardy plank, but it was not cementatious.
so they do make a couple of products, like a Boral, which is, a different kind of composite trim. That's, basically it's water resistant. I don't know the fire ratings on them. I do know that the white cedar goes up a lot faster than the AZEK does, if you're worried about the flash points. But like I said, I mean, if we could, we'd like the board to approve the AZEK. Once it's painted, you'll never be able to tell the difference between wood or PVC. I mean, as the trim, as the rake boards, corner boards, window trim, which we will be using anyways. Approved by you.
AZEK, we had an expert when AZEK first started around 20 years ago, I guess. They came to one of our meetings and talked to us at the end of the meeting. And they said, you got to paint this stuff. You can't just leave it. So even if you're going to want white trim, you still have to paint it. And so white board and batten, you have to paint it. Normal manufacturer's suggestion on it.
Yep, no, I agree. I tell all my customers, you got to paint PVC trim. That's what they recommend.
You were planning to paint it, right?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, totally. I mean, we filled the nail holes, painted, and so that essentially you could not tell unless you tried to take it off the house or gouge it out what material it was.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's what we're requesting. I mean, if it's really an issue, we could look for an alternative material.
Do woodpeckers ever peck at AZAC?
Not,
I'm just curious.
I haven't had the problem.
not that often. If they are, they're trying to get the bugs behind it. I have seen squirrels go through it, but that's about it.
So how would you feel about substituting hardy plank for the ASAC?
So I'm not really sure if the hardy plank actually has a vertical board and batten. They probably do. If that's the case, that's something that.
The idea
Steve
is
would
to
answer.
try to, with the board and batten, I'm just thinking that, it's a lot of wood and it's a lot of cost for rot. So we were just trying to find something a little bit more synthetic that wouldn't rot.
What do you
that we
think
would
that-
still paint that would look.
From a
Does hardy
durability
plank
point
come
of
in
view,
sheets?
hardy plank versus ASAC?
Plywood?
I don't believe the hardy plank does. I believe the hardy plank comes in, they come in siding, like shingles. They come in clapboard.
Fabrics?
I believe that they do have some sort of trim. It's probably like a special order, painted from the factory kind of thing.
Right.
It's nothing that you can get at Shepley's or Mid-Cape. It's nothing off the shelf. So, I mean, cost of that would be a lot more than AZAC. I know that.
Boral's ash has ash in it, doesn't it? Boral board?
I don't know. I don't know the composites exactly. Boral, I do know that Mid-Cape Home Centers does not sell Boral anymore. They took it off the shelves. I'm not sure why, but I was thinking something like Boral. They substitute it with some sort of a different composite or some sort of man-made trim. That's I mean, it looks nice. It looks like kind of like Boral did. I guess basically it's what we'd like to do, with your permission, is do some sort of a exterior siding that it will be a low maintenance, and whether it's AZAC or some sort of other composite, it's just something that's gonna have longevity to it.
Yeah, well, I've just asked the chairman while we were having this discussion back and forth about the relative longevity of AZAC versus hardy plank, and in his opinion, they're about equivalent. So from that standpoint, the substitution really wouldn't, I mean, I don't know about the cost differential.
Well, they said we
But-
can't get it though, on the Cape.
Can't get it.
Well, the hardy plank we can get in clapboards and shingles.
Clapboards and shingles, but not the board and batten style.
It'd probably be a special order, which I'm assuming we probably could. I'd have to research that a little more. I've never been asked that question before for something in this situation, but
Are you willing to look into it?
I am actually.
right.
Yeah, I'm willing to
Should
look
we-
into it. We can.
Should we consider tabling the application for a couple of weeks and give you a chance to look into it?
I mean, yeah, at this point,
Everything else looks fine.
yeah.
I think
Did
we
you
all
say you
agree.
didn't think you could get the vertical style in the style they want? Did you say you didn't think you could get that?
I think I might be able to. I'm not
think you
sure.
might be
I'd
able
have
to.
to look into it. And then again, I know that, the chairman had said, AZAC is expensive. To go the alternate route of having the hardy
Hardy plank.
boards that typically they come pre-finished, the
Mm.
color that you'd like.
Right.
Typically cost more money than AZAC itself. If you were to have this, I know that it's not off the shelf, so it would be a special order. So that means more financial burden.
So would the cost be
Harris's.
prohibitive, do you think? For you?
I'd have to sit down and talk
Yeah.
to
Let's,
Harris's about this, but
Yeah.
I'm just, when it comes to siding, I do understand that you say that, you have approved a few and you have not. Could the board please tell me why, or the reasoning for not having a sustainable product for siding that imitates wood, that you cannot tell the difference? if you don't mind. I mean, I'm just curious for my own. Is in the bylaws that siding is not allowed to, or I mean, how does that
Well,
work?
Vinyl siding initially was a relatively thin kind of, I don't know how you make it, molded of sort. And it wasn't that much to it, and depending on how you put it on the house, you could spot it a mile away. And so we made a lot of effort to have people put it on properly. And they would tell us how they're going to do it and show us examples that they've done on other houses so that we know that when it gets done, it'll look like normal clapboard. Because typically it was just clapboard that was going on. And so, it was a lower grade than they have now. Now it's thicker, and some of them are almost solid. A good thickness, and they're much better quality now. But we sort of got into that way of doing things of no vinyl because it didn't look like wood. It wasn't a good substitute from that point of view. And, our job is to try to keep the appearance historic,
Mhm.
that they're using wood. And if it's a good resembling wood,
There's also an environmental consideration. What do you do with this stuff when you're done with it or it's done? More plastic in the landfills.
yeah.
Right. No, I understand. So I do understand. I do hear.
So what we're suggesting is give you more time to do some research, some comparative cost evaluations and availability and all of that, and come back to us with your findings.
Okay.
And we're only focused on that one issue. I think the board is,
Yeah, the appearance of
Yeah.
the design is good, location on the property, everything looks good. Just the materials.
Right.
concern.
How dead set are you on AZAC? You want to research a little more?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I would rather find something that is synthetic as opposed to.
Well, I want to make sure that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So if we do some more research and we find a synthetic material, and we come back in front of you next month or 2 months from now,
Well, we have
For
a
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
we have a meeting in 2 weeks.
So.
or depending on how long it takes you to do your research.
Yes.
Typically, they do it in 2 weeks.
I just want to make sure that if we do postpone this a little bit more and we do find a synthetic material as the PVC trim,
I think that's
that's not that great for the environment.
my sense. I'm only one vote on this committee, but my sense of the committee is that we're amenable to working with you on this.
Totally.
We just would like more information.
Okay.
Okay. So I move to,
Can I say one thing before you?
sure.
I would suggest you bring a sample of it
Mhm.
and maybe if it's AZEK painted, so we can see what it looks like painted. Because I personally agree with you that you can't tell once it's painted if it's wood or AZEK, so.
And I would agree with that.
Yes.
If I could, can I just bring one photo up too? I promise after, just to show you, like, more in the color what it would be. Just in the color.
Mhm, mhm.
Imagine
Yeah, that looks nice.
painted,
Yeah.
like,
Wait.
whether it was
Is this what yours is gonna look like?
The doors are different.
So as you can see with the magnitude of this project, to throw some wood at it that the woodpeckers are going to get to, that's why we're going for the AZAC.
Or the carpenter bees.
But
Well-
it will be, but anyways, whatever material we do, whether it's AZAC or whatever it's what the board approves, it will be all nominal width. It will be the 3/4, like just like the trim that we put on the corner boards. And that we will essentially, we'll say 1/8 of the project will be AZAC on the exterior. It will be the same 3/4 by whatever, 1/8, so whatever we put on will be, and by the way, the sheathing will be to the, we will sheathe the walls, paper them, properly and then apply this to it so there won't be any, waves or any buckling from the, like you said back in the day when they used to kind of slap up the vinyl siding and it just looked like horrible.
That's very different.
If,
I
if,
think it's
Yeah.
come a long way.
Well, AZAC's not vinyl siding. It's very different.
if this is a faithful representation of what it would look like, looks like vinyl to me.
That looks like vinyl to you?
We'll see in 2 weeks.
Looks
All right. So are we in agreement? Okay, I move to table the application until the next meeting or until such time as you're ready
Fair
to
enough.
present us with your findings.
Awesome. Thank you
I'll
very much for your
second.
time tonight.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Table. Aye.
Aye.
Paula?
Thank you.
Aye. Oh, any day now, I'll get this job. Aye. Seen some of the new vinyl that they've got. It's textured and it's just really nice, but, and it does last long.
The next item is concerned with building a chicken coop at 186 Route 6A. Kenburn Properties, I guess, owns the inn on Main Street.
Inn on Main, on Route 6A.
Hmm?
It's the Inn on Main on Route 6A.
Which is newly purchased, right? About a year ago,
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
You know,
Yes.
COVID really warps your
Ah,
sense
that's
of
how-
It
time.
warps your sense of time, yes. Yeah, last time we were here, we were getting the sign permitted, I believe.
Oh, man. As he is. Okay.
The pictures that I was looking at seem to have chicken coop in the pictures already.
It's a temporary structure that we put together to make sure we got the footage right. Wanted to give you
Okay, thank
a
you.
little additional footages for you butters on the lot line and Google view of it that shows those three that are not in this package.
This looks like it's gonna be far enough back that you wouldn't be able to see it from the road,
You
right?
can't see it from the street. It's 109 feet from the back of the back corner of our structure itself.
Now, do you also live there?
Yes.
So have you done an in-depth study of what your patrons would think of a chicken coop in the backyard?
Most
of
people
them
are
very-
for it.
They're for it.
Yes,
Okay.
because we like the farm to table, try to get as much
Yeah.
fresh stuff as
Yeah,
possible.
Okay.
Mhm.
You do have one dissenter
We actually have two,
too.
correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is what the chain link,
Yeah, it's not a chain link though. It's a smaller. Yeah, it's more like a hardware cloth. There's not like, a chipmunk would not be able to squeeze through.
What's the material?
It's metal.
But what she's talking about right now is it would be additional. It's not part of the initial chicken coop. It's just basically the coop is the 7x5 piece. This would be basically a scratch area that would attach to that.
So they could get out and roam
They can
around.
get out, run around, scratch and get back in, but it would be protected in the same fashion as the chicken coop itself. Harbor cloth around the bottom to prevent any predators from digging. Would have all of the,
Is there a roof on it too to keep?
Yes. Yeah, so
there's-
we have hawks as well.
Yeah. yeah, that's the, between the hawks and then a monofilament that we string around to try to stop them from diving to the property.
So
one
you
of the
have
things-
5 abutters, 2 of whom have dissented.
We have 6 abutters.
Okay, I'm just looking at this to whom it may concern.
Oh, yeah, that one, it's somebody signed in the wrong spot and
Okay,
kind of messed everything up.
And there are actually 3 abutting properties. The other of the 6 are across the street, on the south side of Route 6A. So the actual properties that abut are 192, 182, and well, those are the only, and then the next one over is Carnes, which that house is in the picture here, because that would be, if you're looking at the Google Earth photo, this one, her house would be to the right of 192.
And she owns the property in behind
Right.
ours and an easement. that
Oh,
runs-
Karen does?
She has an easement
Yeah.
between 192 and us, and then the property around the back end of the 2 lots around the back end of the property are hers.
This letter from John Stewart. um, I'll read into the record. Good evening. This communication from Barbara and John Stewart residing at 182 Route 6A addresses our objections to application 22-A069 for the construction of a chicken coop. In fact, the chicken coop has already been constructed without review or permit. While the design and materials may be conducive to keeping chickens, the materials and form of the structure certainly do not meet criteria of the Elkins Highway District. The structure is clearly visible from our property as we are direct abutters, as well as Route 6A and the parking area of the inn. Councilor Jim Wilson has made it clear to the board in previous meetings that the parking area of businesses are public places, which anyone may access. The structure could be screened from view with fully grown arborvitae, but we are insisting through legal counsel that it not be used for the purpose of keeping chickens or fowl. The applicants have erected the structure without a permit to keep chickens from the Board of Health. They haven't gotten a permit from the Board of Health. We have employed counsel whom have petitioned the Board of Health to deny the inn this permit on public health concerns due to the 100% likelihood of rat infestation. For the above reasons, we would request the board either deny the application or at the minimum table it until it's processed through the proper channels of the Board of Health application. We respectfully would ask the board to read this communication into the record of this meeting as it may be of import in future legal actions. Regards, Barbara and John Stewart. So
We do have an application into the health department. So that is not entirely correct.
So I do know that Karen used to have chickens and she got rid of them because of the rats, she told me.
Mhm.
Our chicken coop is also 10 feet off the back of her house. So it's apples and oranges in my view of what we're talking about here. If you read the building department or their process for coming to permit a chicken coop, it actually has to be in place. So I got a little bit of the
It's
egg, chicken and the egg, so to speak here, because if you can't build the structure without, the permit, but you can't get it inspected unless it's built. This is a kit structure. It's not a, it's not made from 2x4s. It's basically 1x1 Douglas fir with a 1/4 inch hardwire netting that we put together to make sure all of the measurements fit the location. And that's why you can see the roof of it in the pictures. It can be taken down in 5 minutes.
So there's no chickens in there yet.
There are no chickens in it yet.
Well, it's probably, we have applications almost daily for sheds. And I get to review most of them because if they're less than 120 square feet and they meet various other criteria, then I can review it myself as the architect chairman. If it's a larger structure, it has to come before the full committee. If there's some other oddities about it, so on, it would have to come before the committee. But every once in a while, someone goes off and buys something at Lowe's or through a catalog or whatever that's vinyl. It has a low-pitched roof. It's plastic siding, plastic doors, and they come to try to get that improved. And it gets turned out all the time. If you drive around Cape Cod, you see a lot of sheds that are built on Cape Cod. There are 2 or 3 different companies that all they do practically is make sheds. And they're substantial structures, they're well built. And we would envision the chicken coop to be more like that. Its structure, the building quality, etc., of a shed. This one it's more in the category of these cheapies that you buy down at Lowe's, and they may have a hip roof or very low pitched, etc. And they just don't make it in the historic district. And it's not just Yarmouth, but the Yarmouth, the Old Kings Highway Historic District goes from Sandwich to Orleans. It's the largest in the country, and square miles. And you're not going to see sheds and other structures that don't conform to our architectural kind of standard. So when I saw this structure, I immediately said, no way if this would get approved in the Old Kings Highway Road. We've approved of 2 in 25 years that I'm aware of.
2 what?
Chicken coops. One was recently, and it's a substantial structure. And the other, I don't know if it's built yet. The other was 10, 15 years ago on Winter Street.
So just a couple of questions here. You built this structure so it can be inspected by the Board of Health?
Correct.
And you've got an application into the Board of Health, so that's pending? So to be honest, I think that should be done and see what the results from that is before we make a decision here, one way or the other.
We tried their meetings because we've had objections. We have to go through the Board of Appeals, and the next meeting is a holiday and the meeting after that is a holiday. So it's looking like it's at least 6 weeks out from that. We keep getting pushed out now.
All right, so at this point, do you have a date that you
don't
can
have
attend a
anything.
meeting. You have
Yeah.
no date.
Waiting for Phil to get back to us on the date after he talks to Brad on when we might get it on their agenda. So
So I believe the Board of Health also requires that abutters be notified, right?
they're all notified.
And that's
That's
what
why-
this originally started out.
That's why they just can't come out and inspect. You have to go in front of the Board of Health, just like we're here today.
Right.
So I would feel more comfortable. I'm sorry that it
No,
might
I
take as
get it.
long as it might. But I would feel more comfortable if we had some say-so from the Board of Health relative to what their concerns might be. And then we can take that and then make a decision. So I don't know.
In the meantime, though, I would, if I were you, I would look at, if you're intent on getting a chicken coop, to look at something that's more in keeping with, the quality and the material kind of structure that we are normally looking at for sheds.
Can you show me where in your bylaws that the material structure design is listed so that I know, because this is not a shed, it's a chicken coop. It's much smaller than sheds are. It doesn't have, it's never going to have the same kind of structural soundness that a shed's going to have. It's not used for storing tools. It's not used for storing equipment. It's not used for any lawn equipment. It doesn't have a solid floor. It's not going to have a foundation. It's a chicken coop. So I'm looking for in what we're talking about here in the certificate of appropriateness,
Right.
what lines out from the board's perspective, what I can and can't do with regards to this chicken coop. Because I think from a shed perspective for the town, the structure will meet everything it needs to do from a shed perspective because it doesn't hit the 16-foot in length. It doesn't do anything as far as square
The
footage.
town is half practically Old Kings Highway area. And so if the building department says they would approve it, that doesn't mean it would be approved in the Old Kings Highway area. They're just saying if you were putting this up south of Route 6, they would allow you to do that. But that's not the same.
You know, our mandate is to consider applications in terms of appropriateness and setting. And
I
you're
don't
on
find it-
6A.
I don't find it appropriate.
Well,
structure.
what I'm trying to say is you're on 6A. The most sensitive historic part of the historic district. So that has our antenna up. And I agree with the chairman. It's the design of the structure. Issues of the Board of Health are really not within our purview. That's for them to determine. But we do act on appropriateness and setting. And I am
There's a-
very uncomfortable with that design in your setting. I'm also uncomfortable with the fact that 2 of the 6 abutters are opposed. Clearly, it's a minority, but I would think from your perspective,
They also have lived there for a long time.
that's right.
And had experience years ago with the same problem.
Yeah.
But that was with trash bins from the restaurant that was directly across there from their house. And honestly, with my conversation with Linda Dillon, who was one of the ones that didn't want to sign, she was all for the idea, all for the concept. She just didn't want to go against John and Barbara. They've been friends for bazillions of years. So
Well, there's a chicken coop on Setauket Road, about 100 yards or 50 yards from 134 on the left. I walk by it all the time, and they've been selling eggs for at least 10 years. And they have a little box out front. You can pay yourself and walk away with a dozen eggs. And I got my car inspected Saturday on 134 at Canning's garage. And the operator there is into duck hunting. And I noticed a little sign, regular eggs, $8 a dozen, and duck eggs, $12 a dozen. So I'm not sure if he grows them or not, or he gets them somebody close by. But they're available locally, fresh eggs.
Yeah, and our cost, we are a bed and breakfast. We are a business that is, takes the breakfast part of that very seriously. It's one of the reasons our guests, as we floated the idea of fresh eggs that are coming right from, the property, was a good idea. And when eggs go from basically $5 for 5 dozen to $16 for 5 dozen, then we as business owners look for alternative methods to source, our ingredients for breakfast. And doing the math, it is way much cheaper to take care and raise chickens. And we're only talking 10 chickens. We're not talking 30 like Lighthouse Keepers when you approve them, for the chicken and their chicken coop. We're talking no more than 10 birds that from docile bird laying eggs that are being directly used to feed our guests at the inn. And it becomes part of a marketing plan in order to bring more tourists to the town, to experience what we love about this house, that it was built in 1790, 1810, and 1830. And we are caretakers of this property. And with the work we've been doing to clear most of the, the lot that it sits on, and it is an acre lot, which is one of the reasons when we bought the property, because of the size, we had entertained this idea back then of the potential of putting a chicken coop on it to source fresh eggs for breakfast. I understand what you're saying. They're available in farm stands all over. Technically, we're not allowed to sell the eggs. If we have a local chicken coop, you can't sell those eggs. You can use them as part of your food for breakfast, but I can't sell them to the public. So people that are actually in violation of the health department's regulations when they do that, whether it's private sales or public sales.
So
That is
the
not our intention.
excuse me.
Yeah.
So the sentence in Mr. Stewart's letter that resonates with me, he's done his homework. He's a smart man. He used to sit on this committee for many years.
Well, yes,
We can sign John Barber folks.
yes.
Counselor Jim Wilson has made it clear to the board in previous meetings, the parking areas of businesses are public places which anyone may access.
In my, sorry to interrupt, but when it comes to a bed and breakfast, which is there's a different kind of carving. We are not a commercial property in that sense. We're not a commercial business. And that is a private parking area. There's not an open public parking lot. Is there specifically for the guests of the business? It is not a parking lot that anybody else can use.
So you're taking issue with that
I
statement?
take issue with that statement. Yes. Now I'm not familiar with any of
Because
the comments of the selectman and what he's made, but I would.
Because
take issue with
that particular issue is critically important to this application, because to be perfectly fair, this chicken coop is not visible from 6A. So the issue of whether your parking area is a public space or not is very significant. It's germane. And Mr. Stewart has sought the advice of our lawyer, who says it is. You say it isn't, but you're not a lawyer. So,
Did John seek his advice on this particular?
well, I think we need clarification on that. We need to know exactly from our attorney whether your parking area is a public place or not. So from that standpoint alone, I'm not sure we're quite in a position to make a determination tonight. We need legal advice on this. Because just strictly from our bulletin's perspective, since the chicken coop is not visible from 6A, if that's the only public place or avenue under consideration, I would have a difficult time justifying
It's visible.
rejecting the
It's visible
application.
from other
Pardon me?
It's visible from other properties as well.
That's true, but is that germane to our, to
So
our?
Lighthouse Keepers Pantry has public parking behind it.
Yeah, I mean,
More public than their parking.
What did you just say?
So Lighthouse Keepers Pantry has public parking behind it where their chicken coop is, which is truly public because it's a commercial
All right,
establishment.
so does that mean I can go and park my car there?
Sure.
And so are you saying that's what this property is?
This is not that.
That's not that,
Right.
okay.
So theirs is more public and we approve that.
So if we came to find out that this was not a public way and it's private parking area, how would that affect our decision?
I don't think it's a proper structure.
Which we can remedy.
We can remedy a structure issue.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I suggested, in the meantime, where other things get clarified, they should look into a structure that would be
Okay,
more in
so
keeping.
we need to do
with
more
what we
work
would
here.
expect.
Okay. So work on the structure, find out
Yeah, we can.
what the
there's
parking
plans
situation
that are-
is, if it's private or public.
Okay, so are you guys gonna do consult your legal counsel on that, or do we?
Well,
need
we
to-
already have his opinion on that.
If,
No,
And
Well,
he
this
says
is-
it's
I don't
public.
think so.
this
I
is
don't- I don't-
secondhand.
I don't think so.
we're getting
I
it
think John
secondhand.
Stewart
We're not
said-
getting it directly.
So it's hearsay.
So
It's hearsay. Yes, counselor, it's hearsay.
It's hearsay.
Okay,
Okay.
so.
And also,
Anyway.
we do not have a copy of any of the objectives letters. Can we get those?
I haven't seen any. Oh, well, the John Stewart one.
Yeah, there's only one letter here and that's from
letter.
John.
We can get it from them. so.
Yeah, if you can get better clarification from your abutters, and then if you, since, I don't know, I suppose we
Well,
can
okay,
talk to Jim
can you-
about this, but
And when you say better clarification from our butters, there are 4 that are already are fine
Right,
with it.
but people have signed, they haven't really stated their position on it. They've signed this paper that says they're
Says they
okay.
don't have an objection to it. Yeah,
Object.
that to me is an opinion.
Yeah,
So
You
do you
know,
know,
I grew up in Dennisport, summering there, and I had relatives that go back a couple of generations before 1900. And my aunt had a chicken coop. They had about 3 acres of land on the street. She had fairly large, you could walk into it. And I don't know how many chickens she had, but she had quite a few. And I was around a few times when they got their heads chopped off and continued running around.
They do that.
Yeah,
They're not those kind of chickens.
but so they made good use of their property.
We do want to structure Carnes, like you referenced that Carnes was very low to the ground. And she's not notoriously known for keeping her property clean. They attribute some of it to the rats. So,
So you are a public record, just so you know.
I know.
so have you seen the pre-made chicken coops they have at Agway? And have you seen those? Or
Yeah, I've
would
seen the
those be
ones they have
more
over there.
acceptable? Those sort of ones? Have you seen them? Wondering if they were attractive. to
Well, we
myself.
can find plans. He's quite handy, so we both are actually. We can put one together that would satisfy.
Okay,
your
Well,
concerns.
but here's the chicken and the egg thing. It's about, all right, here's the plans for it. This is going to work. And
Does the Board of Health care what it looks like?
I don't think they care what it looks like. They
Just
just
where it
care that
is.
Where it is and
So
what
you
are
could
doing?
use your temporary one you have now
They want to
for
know, they want to
their,
know what we're doing there. Do we
information.
have a water supply for it? What are we doing with the, the manure that's generated, and we're composting that as part of the, as
And what are
part
we
of
storing food
creating
in?
soil to go for raised garden beds that'll also provide food for guests next year. So it's all part of a sustainable approach to what we're trying to do with regards to breakfast for the guests that we have. But that's their concerns. It's mitigation of pests and rodents, how you're taking care of manure, what kind of containers you're using for that, all of that is part of that. And then because it's a shed, you got to do the other permitting piece of that through
Right.
the building side. And they want to see the structure is what
if you read their part of the application process, that's what it says, to come out and see the structure. So that's where I'm stuck. All right, well, I have a structure that's a chicken coop that, certainly somewhere down the road, I would upgrade, as things go along. But if I go and invest in building to what you reference as an appropriate structure that fits the character, but it's going to be 2x4 built and have, siding, and cedar shake, and all the other things that make that work. That's a huge financial investment by something that all of a sudden gets denied because of whatever, A, B, or C. And that's why I'm asking from the Board of Health or from the OKH's perspective for the certificate of appropriateness. What should that consist of when in that shed look, which is not a shed, it's a chicken coop, and needs to be built differently in that sense. Has to be open, has to have access, has to have room for the chickens to be underneath the laying baskets, those kinds of things. That's not quite the shed.
So I want to make another point about this petition, which is essentially what we're looking at here. So on the one hand, you have Linda Dillon, who you say is very strongly influenced by the Stewarts. And that's the reason, in your opinion, why she wouldn't sign. But on the other hand, okay, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but I want to say the counter to that is it's very difficult for most people who want to be friendly and neighborly to not sign a petition that's presented to them at their doorstep. I've made this point with other applications that have come before us for entirely different projects. That petitions, I don't find petitions particularly persuasive. I much more respect thoughtful letters explaining in detail, such as Mr. Stewart's thoughtful letter, which is very carefully researched, whether you agree with his point of view or not. If the four who have signed this petition were to write thoughtful letters explaining why they are in favor of your project, that would carry more weight with me. So I think we have a number of things that that we have to consider that really are not resolved in this application. We have the legal issue of the public way. We need to clear that up. We have
Butter issue.
we have the abutter issue, and exactly how do they really feel about this? And
Let me, I'm going to ask John to speak. If John could tune in.
okay,
John, are you on now?
He's muted.
Can you speak?
John, you're muted.
You're still muted.
we can't hear you, John.
Oh, yes, an indication.
see
Yes, that it's muted.
Hello, John.
Oh, thank you.
Unmute.
Oh, you're muted. Come on.
You want me to shoot Barbara a text?
Watching our meeting.
He's been on Zoom before, so he should know how to do it. That's not our problem, right? It's him. I don't know if you can hear us, John, but you're still muted, so you should push the correct button.
Which one is it? Oh, John.
I think you spent 2 years doing Zoom meetings. He knows how to do it.
Right, yeah, all through COVID-19.
Nope.
I probably can't see it. Can you see that from there?
No.
We can see it, but
Pretty
I
light.
Yeah, turn it left, so.
Well, there's nothing more I can do.
Okay, well,
He had a hand raised and
His
that's
number?
gone now.
I just texted him.
Did you? Okay, I was gonna shoot him.
okay. Well, I think,
There we, well,
see if he's gonna come on now. Nope.
So it sounds like you guys want to table till we get on the Board of Health
Yeah.
agenda. and get
Yeah.
some
Yeah, we do
direction.
that.
And get some letters from your butters. And
We can do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what
yeah. As I say,
your microphone.
one that
is
we
pretty-
approved at least 10 years ago was on Winter Street. So you might take a walk down Winter Street. It's on the left side and it's down like 3/4 of the way. And it was to the left side of the house, I think, but well back. I don't know if they even used it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What about the one at Lighthouse Keeper's Pantry?
We're doing 30 birds.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if we could, make that on a smaller scale. Don't need that big.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
We can check that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's available close by.
It's across the street from us.
Yeah, you can walk down the back.
Yes.
Good.
Need a copy.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. So do I have a motion to?
I move to table the application, subject to legal counsel opinion on the public place issue
research into stone
and what?
design?
Design,
And a butter issues.
right. Right.
All right.
Okay, do I hear a second?
second,
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye,
I,
okay, good. Okay, so we'll see you again soon.
Yes.
We will do the rest of our diligence.
Okay,
And you can get us back in. Okay, thanks, Lisa.
thank you.
you look like Bill Murray. Does anybody ever? It's just like Bill Murray.
Oh, I don't know. It's after the, I got to
Have a good night, guys.
Too late. now.
After the fact.
Yeah, we recognize the fact that we hung around pretty long for him. Okay, now we have a much easier one, I think. So the gentleman, 26 Musket Lane. And there's a new main entry and master bedroom considerations. Michael Blatz is the owner. Todd Perry is the agent. And they're both here.
We're both here.
Good. Okay.
We have to do the paper for that.
No,
Oh, because we tabled it. Okay, sorry. Nancy here.
okay. So right now, the front of the house has like a reverse board and batten and shingles. And
Yeah, it's a
The new ver-
T111 siding,
Yeah, it's a plywood texture 111 siding on it now.
and I want to go with a clapboard.
so, so you'd have clapboard across the whole front.
No, not right now. That's what we want to change it
Yeah,
to.
that's
That's
what
what I
he'd like to
mean.
change
Oh,
to,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Go to that. It says new front elevation.
try to, so now what's gonna happen on the front? So is this area gonna be filled in? So
It's
it won't
gonna
be
Bump
recessed?
out. It's actually,
Bump
right now
out.
it's recessed in.
Okay.
And we want to
Forward.
bump it out, go across and build like an entryway.
Okay, when you
And,
say go across, like a farmer's porch or something, or?
We're gonna,
It's like an addition. It's not
Small.
recessed in, doesn't have a porch style on the front, but it's got a shed roof off of the front of the building there,
Yeah,
coming off the
trying to-
with the
edge
skylights.
now.
Yeah.
It's got skylights.
Open for skylights. Yeah, it's a pretty dark room, trying to open it up a little bit and
The one
You can see in the
opens,
cross section here, or the side elevations, how the structure sticks out
right,
at the front of the building.
So that structure's going to be close to the window on the right. That bump out's going to be just to
Yes.
the left of that window on the right.
Yep.
So you're extending this thing, what, 6 feet maybe?
yeah, trying to extend it out maybe
And it'll come
8
out.
feet out.
Okay.
And it's gonna run
8 feet.
across about
Okay.
20 feet roughly.
yeah.
Projecting out 8 feet from the existing building.
So that'll have kind of a door on the side of that.
Yeah, so it won't be your typical front door. The door will access from the side of the
On the
addition.
side.
Do you change the pitch of the roof?
The
Yeah.
ranch, yeah, just because the ranch is such a shallow pitch
Right,
roof.
so you're raising the roof, you're changing the
No,
roof.
no,
Oh,
no,
it
not
goes
the
to
elevation of the
same
roof,
ridge.
not the ridge height, just
How do
coming
you
off.
change the pitch without raising the ridge beam?
Well, it's extending out farther, so the pitch
Yeah.
changes, it flattens out.
Yeah.
It'll actually match the addition that was done on the
On the
rear.
Rear
That
side,
was
yeah.
about 15
It's
years
just-
ago.
So it'll be a more shallow
Yes.
roof than the
3 inch.
existing.
It's a 3-inch
Okay.
pitch. Versus about 6.
So we're trying to get a little more living space because it's a little tight.
Right,
We're trying to add another bathroom where the existing closet is in the master room.
Okay.
And then on the opposite side of the bump out mudroom will be a walk-in closet from the master.
So it actually goes further over to the right than
Yeah,
the
it'll be-
current entryway.
Right, right. And that'll all be the closet.
Making a formal master on the first, you know, with a private bath.
So where did you say the front door is going to be? On the side of that bump out?
Yes, on the left-hand
Is
side.
it going to go into the bedroom?
no.
No, no,
see
it
what-
goes
See where
into
the
the-
triple
right into-
window is?
It'll come from the
Yes.
driveway
Look at
side.
the front view. On the, where the triple window is, that's coming forward about 10
Right.
feet. So you go in the side there.
Over here?
And
Yeah,
that's,
so it'll be, essentially you drive up the
That living
driveway,
room area.
a walkway right towards the front of the addition,
Okay.
and the door will be.
To the left of the addition?
You
Yes,
gotta be
right
on the left
left-hand
side, yeah.
Yep,
Will it be like a side door or a
Yes.
facing door?
side door.
So the existing bump out on the rear is over to the left side, right, behind the garage?
Yeah, behind the garage, yep.
see the blank space next to the triple window
Yep.
is a closet. Goes to
Right.
the bedroom.
Right.
Are you adding skylights?
I hope to, yes.
Not part of the application, that's why I asked.
I thought it was.
There's a picture of them in here.
It's not part of
Yes.
the, it's not on the minutes, I mean, on the agenda.
Part
It
item.
is. It's skylights
Oh,
3,
Okay,
2 fixed, 1 vented,
all right,
20 by 40 and 20 by 20.
okay. I
And
was just
you know,
reading off of the agenda.
Oh, no. I
Well,
was
that just says
reading the
addition, right?
spec sheet.
So that new room that you walk in,
Mhm.
the new front door, side door, is that just going to be, it's not going to be the bedroom, you said that's going to be,
No, that'll be an entryway,
there's a coat
Added
closet in
tile.
there too?
do like a
I see.
closet, some storage space.
All right. So the only thing else I see here that on your triple window, it looks like all your other windows are 6/6. And then it looks like you've got clear panes on the bottom of those side windows. Is that because the middle window is mainly a single pane or?
It's a picture window.
Yeah, picture unit, stationary unit there, and then
Yeah.
operating on the
Does anybody
sides.
have an objection to that or?
They've
That
got casement
works well.
windows with no grills.
Yeah, the casement window is
To the
different,
left.
obviously, but I see this window over here is 6/6.
Yep.
Yeah.
The window where the bump out is going to be is 6/6.
I think that's,
To be honest, I think it probably looks better this way because of the other window is
Right.
mainly glass, but I don't know, I just thought I'd throw that out there
yep, looks good.
just to be a pain.
I think it's appropriate.
I don't know, I think it's nice.
Me too.
One man's opinion.
I don't see any abutters, and I guess there are none online, correct, Lisa?
I move to approve.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
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 Easier than a chicken coop.
Next time.
Oh, my, I thought that was gonna be an easy one. Oh, man.
Okay, this
No, you never know.
just says if you can make changes, let us know in advance. You sign here and I'll sign here. Thank you. You'll get a copy of this. Okay.
Thanks.
I know.
Have a good night.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Good night.
Approved.
Everyone.
It's been that kind of a night.
Just keep things interesting, huh?
I'd love to, but I have a house guest. So I have to
Oh.
do that.
I'm gonna have, starting
You
next
said you
week,
wanted to
my
go out
house
for-
won't be empty. So
Well, you said you wanted to go out
Big summer
drinking.
in.
Is that what you said?
That's for the first, yeah.
I said I wanna,
We're there.
if you're interested.
Celebrate your eyes.
You think? I should think that would be clearly evident to everybody. Half Scottish, though, half
Okay.
Scottish. That's how
Why I
it
turned mine
explains a lot more. And I'm one of 13, so that explains everything.
I didn't think you're right. She's gonna be that.
Not PC?
I just thought these six were like,
I've been dreading it for 6 weeks.
What about 6 weeks?
The chicken coop.
Oh,
I bumped into a neighbor 6 weeks ago, and he mentioned that there was this thing sitting in the yard.
you mow your own lawn.
So,
no, that'd be John.
That's a lot of lawn
okay,
to mow.
now we had minutes of the meeting from the previous meeting, which was May 23rd. So everyone had time to review them? Looks okay, or?
I move to approve as amended.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good. And it's okay. Let me just comment on something which came up, which I knew about, but sort of ignored. As a nice guy, I ignore things sometimes. And if you look at the constitution of a town committee for Old Kings Highway in the bulletin, you'll find that there are 5 members, 4 elected members, and then a architect / contractor person, and that's 5. And so there'd be 5 votes. And in the event that one of the regular members couldn't make it, then the alternate would sit in and the alternate would vote, and you'd have 5 votes. Okay, so you could split that any way, but you would never have 6 votes. And so at previous meetings, Cindy used to vote, and Liz was here as well, and Rosemary was here, and we'd end up with 6 votes. And I thought it was nice to let Cindy vote. And I guess it would be okay, except if you put it on the legal record. And the minutes of the meeting are a legal document, so to speak. And so I heard about it from our attorney when he was preparing for tomorrow's appeal for 31
Whippoorwill.
Whippoorwill. And he called me up and said, Richard, what's this 6 votes you have? You can't have 6 votes. Well, I said, I know. He said, well, what are you doing if you know? So anyway, we get
I
this.
did ask that
straightened out.
question
Right.
in the beginning. Am I allowed to vote or make motions? And you said, sure.
And I said, sure, because I'd like to hear from you. And,
We signed the paper for the last
But-
one.
but you shouldn't really sign the
Guys, we just
document
voted.
either.
I don't think
You
that
keep
was-
giving them to me.
I kept giving, yeah, I know.
So
yeah,
if I'm acting as
two
an alternate
guys?
because there's someone not here
I'll ask.
and I can vote and I can sign,
Sure.
if I'm, so, okay.
But tonight we're all legal.
I understand, but if there were 6 people here, should I not
Which?
make motions? Should I not vote? Should I
No.
I
just
don't think
participate in
we
the discussion?
Yeah,
And
you should participate.
I'll
in
ask him.
Yes, you
but
did.
should I not be making motions or seconding? Is that
it.
necessary?
Probably not making motions.
What about seconding, not seconding? Or
Yeah, I would just refrain from that.
Okay.
You know, because usually,
just sit up here and look cute,
very often in the minutes, they put down who
made the motions?
moved and motion.
Thank you for the clarification.
Paula wants to know, did we sign
That
for the
paper
last
for the last two
application? I thought
guys?
we
Did
did.
we
think we
pass
did.
that paper for the last two
I signed
guys?
it. Did you get
For
to
the last 2 guys?
I think so.
He signed it.
Yeah, but did we sign the one that we send back and
Or
forth?
maybe just Cindy
I'm
and I.
losing my mind clearly, but
Oh, it's possible.
no, it's obvious.
I have 3 signatures.
Yeah, get right on that.
It has 3 signatures, so somebody didn't.
Probably
right.
it would be myself.
You're right. That, well, it could be my fault. I didn't pass it
That's
to you.
clearly Bob's fault.
It is absolutely my fault.
I gotta watch you guys all the time. It's pathetic. All right, there we go.
You didn't want to bring Jean to this entertainment tonight?
What's
What?
that?
Not something, I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, aye, aye. Oh my God, I haven't had this much fun since the Indian scalped my little sister.
Since who scalped your little sister? The Indian?